Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about synthetic elastomers. I have been receiving requests about posting a very short video or a very brief of what is synthetic elastomer. So with that aim, I have prepared this PPT. So with the help of this PPT, you'll be able to at least prepare a good short note on what do you understand by synthetic elastomers and what could be the major examples of it. So before going for that, which means synthetic word, let us go ahead with elastomers. I think you understand that elastomers are those polymers which possess the property of elasticity, and they could be natural, and they could be semi synthetic, and they could be synthetic. Like, three types of elastomers are possible. I hope you remember in natural elastomers, the example would be obviously natural rubber, which is nothing but a polymer of, you may call it as a latex, or you may call it as isoprene. So, isoprene units, which was IUPAC name, if you want to remember, it was like 2 methyl 1,3 butadiene. So, 2 methyl 1,3 butadiene was the monomer, right? Polyisoprene. So isoprene converts to get you polyisoprene, and that polyisoprene is nothing but rubber. So just we wanted to increase the property of rubber. So in semi-synthetic, you actually vulcanized that particular rubber, right? So vulcanized rubber or vulcanization came in the category of semi-synthetic. And now today I'm talking about synthetic elastomers. So those are the elastomers which you have to prepare in the lab. So you are not taking any natural rubber here, and you are not changing it or making it a derivative, so it's not a semi-synthetic one. So let us go ahead with synthetic elastomer. What are they? Are those polymers which have elasticity and you synthesize them in lab. So let us go ahead with the first of the example. You might have heard it, Buna S, which is SBR, where S stands for styrene, which is one of the monomer. Then B stands for butadiene, which is another monomer. And then these two monomers combine together to give you this kind of polymer. So if you want to know the details of what is a polymer and what are the classifications of polymer, you may refer to another video of mine. Till now, I think, I hope you understand what I'm talking about is a condensation polymer, or a copolymer, or a addition polymer. I think these terminologies are known to you. So now this, if you can see, it's a copolymer because there are two different monomers involved. It is a butadiene and a styrene. And how does it take place? The polymerization is very simple, like electron transfer takes place. So you can simply see that the double bond has came here, and this double bond will go here, and this double bond will go here. So whenever you draw a polymer, you show a polymer, you always show that the bond is going outside this bracket, and that shows that the this chain is continue. Since polymer is a long chain compound, so this chain is continue. And also this N refers here to the degree of polymerization. That means how many monomers are involved in the reaction. So N represents that. So overall, if you want to show what is SBR, it looks like this. And the another name is obviously Buna S, wherein Bu, that means Bu, that stands for butadiene. S stands for obviously styrene. Now can you guess how like Na come into the picture? For what Na stands for? It is an element, I hope you remember, sodium. So this happens in the presence of sodium, this reaction. That is why you call it as a Buna S. So styrene butadiene rubber is first of your polymer. And looking to the major properties, it is normally compounded with either carbon black or with sulfur in order to increase the stiffness. Normally it is used in like conveyor belting, in making tire threads, gaskets, wire cable insulations, etc. Coming to the second one, which is Buna N. So again, you have to look into Bu stands for butadiene. So now if you can see, butadiene is one of the monomer. Then nitrile, which is vinyl cyanide. So you can see the monomer here. And then they both react to give you buna-N. So again, it is a copolymer because two different monomers are there. And now let us see how does it like polymerization. So if you just break this bond into two electrons, you can show the electrons like this, and for this bond also you can show the electrons like this, and for this also I'll show it like this. Now if these two electrons join, right, so this electron will be left behind, and then you will be having a double bond here, and if these two electrons join, they will make a bond, right? So this CH2 bond is that only, and then it becomes a single bond, and this electron comes here, so there is a bond. So that is how you can, you know, show this how this bond is being made. It's very simple. Here also it happens in presence of sodium, so you may call it as a buna-N, and again N stands for number of monomers involved. So butadiene nitrile rubber is having many applications. It is comparatively rigid in comparison to buna S, and it is mainly used in automobiles and aircraft parts. You can see here the nitrile tubing and gaskets and different automobile parts made out of buna-N. Here you can see the gaskets and all. So basically it is also having almost similar application as that of buna S. Coming to neoprene, neoprene is also known as duprene, and it is homopolymer of chloroprene. And when you say homo, that means the monomer is same, and chloroprene is nothing but a derivative of isoprene. So if you remember, if it is isoprene, then there will be CH3 here, right? So it's like 2-methyl-1,3-butadiene is isoprene. But if I write Cl in presence of CH3, so it becomes a chloropene. So now if you take chloropene as the monomer, whatever is polychloropene, that is known as neoprene. So polyisoprene was natural rubber, while polychloropene is a synthetic rubber which is known as neoprene. And again the thing goes like this only, so you will get a double bond here, and the bond is shown like this. So basically chloroprene undergoes this free radical polymerization. Again, if you want to show that, let's say if these are two double bonds, these are two electrons, so these two electrons react with each other, so it will be left with one free electron like this. You can write it like this, right? And then at the end propagation takes place, like this is the initiation, then propagation takes place wherein n number of monomers combine and they give you the polymeric chain, and at the end termination of this chain take place, and then termination we supply a free radical so that this particular electron can attach to maybe H dot and it becomes CH3, or there are others. So as of now, since electron is left, you may call it as the bond is still open, and that is how you show a polymer like this. Now let us see the applications. It is obviously better, far better than the natural rubber. It is resistant to sunlight, oxygen and heat, and that is why you will find it in many, you know, shoe soles and automobile parts, and especially our diving suits and knee pads etc are made up of it. And you can see the tubings also, and then the laptop case covers, these are also made up of neoprene. Coming to silicone rubber, silicone oil, if you remember, that was like RSIO linkage, and this is nothing but silicon, right? So silicon rubber is also same. R here stands for CH3, Si, CH3O. This is the repeating unit, and this is termination by OH. So this is obviously produced by polymerization of dimethyl silicon hydroxide and a cyclic, like you can see dimethyl silicon hydroxide looks like this. So if on hydrolysis we get this, and on polymerization we obviously they are going to react, right? So H2 gets released in this particular reaction, and similarly this keeps on going and H2 is released and the chain gets increased. So basically if you want to remember the structure, you can simply write RSIR and then O, then again RSIR and then O, where R varies, and whenever you have to terminate the chain you can write OH and OH at the end. So this basically would be the repeating unit. So silicon rubber looks like this. You may find its application in household cleaning and liquid in terms of adhesive. Then you can see personal care or medical items also. So it is used as a sealant in a sealing material also. And major of the it's sort of a plastic. So many equipments which look like they are made up of plastic, but they are made up of silicon rubber. Coming to the next one is a butyl rubber, and here it is formed by polymerization of two monomers which are isobutylene and isoprene. So when they react, obviously the bond will come here, and this bond will come here, and this bond will come here, and you can simply join them together like this. So this is how butyl rubber looks like. Again, butyl rubber is also having many applications. Where do you find it? In tubes and tires, automotives. Basically they use it, is used as an adhesive. You can see a self adhesive tape here, and that's it. Coming to the next one, which is a polysulfide rubber. As the name suggests, sulfide, so sulfur would be there here. So in vulcanization also we use sulfur, so polysulfide is used. Now when polysulfide, you may call it as a thiocol, methylene dichloride is there. So when polysulfide, you have to use it is a condensation polymer, because this here there is a release of small molecule, and if you want it to behave as an elastomer, then there is a necessary requirement that at least 4 sulfur should be there in the structure. If only 2 sulfur are there, then it will not serve as elastomer. And same goes with methylene group also. Per molecule you should have at least 4 methylene, then only it will become elastomer. So in that case, as I said, that the polymer behaves like elastomer when these conditions are met, and it also depends on the length of aliphatic group joined to that particular chain. Now based on that, its property is going to vary, but generally you will find that the thiocol or polysulfide rubber are resistant to action of oxygen, ozone, petrol, lubricants, organic solvent, etc. And thereby they are quite stable, and these films are impermeable to gases also to a large extent. Basically it has some odor, so its odor is bad, but it is like having low tensile strength, poor heat resistance, etc. And if you want to see the applications, so as I said, it would be used in making hoses, it would be used in making sealant or a binder for the fuel, and electrical encapsulation, etc. Because on pressure they are going to deform, so not much stable at higher pressure or temperature, so it's normally used to make these things only. So I think with that you are able to understand what are synthetic elastomers, and you will be able to prepare a short note on it and a brief of how does a synthetic elastomer prepared and where you can use them. So with that I'll take your leave. If you do like the video, click on like and subscribe the channel. Also I would be eagerly waiting for your comments, because based on those only I decide the topic to make new video on. So do mention, and thank you everyone.